This is just a random idea. Doing a podcast where I just read things off of Today I Learned on Reddit and call it Live and Learn. But
And then
fifty
get
thousand 50,000 people already did it. That's why I'm talking about it out loud because FML.
ready.
So I heard when you wish upon a star.
Mm-mm. Stars don't give a shit about your DNA. You a person? You good.
I'm into this. Yeah.
God fucking damn it.
What?
What's wrong?
There 2 tweets now?
You have to tell us what's happening so we can help you, Nick.
I'll retweet both of them.
You have to turn that auto tweet off.
No.
Then I'm not doing the tweets.
Why not? It's funny.
It's redundant.
Those us talking about fucking Pokemon for 3 weeks, but we still do it. And don't
Well,
let
I
me
mean-
bring up Destiny.
Destiny's a good game.
It is. And I'm like, even if the topic itself is considered redundant, there's humor and content to be had.
Oh yeah. Actually, that being said, Nick, sometime I'd love to, between the two of you, play some Destiny since with the cross save I should be able to download it on my PC.
Yeah, the only thing you'd have to be mindful of is that licenses don't transfer over. So you'd have to buy Forsaken.
Oh, but that's only like a $30 expansion, right?
Yeah, no, it's not too expensive right now. And then moving forward, like all the new expansions coming out, they're all standalone. They're a la carte, so you wouldn't need previous expansions to play them.
But for this one, I would have to buy Forsaken. Oh wait, Forsaken! I have Forsaken already.
Well, no, but
Murderer.
you don't have it on PC. Like the licenses don't transfer.
Killed it.
Like all your stuff will come over, but your license won't transfer over for Forsaken specifically.
Okay.
Killed the
Well,
tweet,
that's not terrible.
Nick. Killed it. It's
Huh?
dead. Why did you
Yeah, I
put
did.
the tweet to sleep? You sent it to the camp up north.
It's sleeping with the fishes.
Because
The
if I
Twitter
took the
fishes.
effort for my tweet to be out there, I want that to be the only one to be out there.
Yeah. If
I
someone's
want
tweeting,
there
it's
to be
only
2
gonna be me.
tweets. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Tyler.
If
Okay.
you want 2 tweets, you can just tweet another one.
True.
I can only control my actions. I cannot control the actions of others.
I mean, theoretically, you could delete mine too and just kind of get like tweet territorial or tweet aggressive.
I will delete
Tweetatorial.
my bad tweets, and I will delete bad bot tweets that I don't wish, but I will not delete somebody else's tweet
Butt tweets?
unless it's clearly like that can't we can't let that like
Oh, like if I start tweeting my my political opinions, like, ooh, we can't leave that up there.
I mean, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, we are
Alright.
like super late. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just have a little sip of my apple juice.
Good.
Ah!
Apple juice.
Ooh, just like Mama used to make it over at the farm. I'm sorry, I said farm. I meant orchard.
I mean, sometimes orchards are on farms.
You saying I was loud there, Nick?
What? I didn't
Oh,
say
I
anything.
thought. Did a hand
I'm
symbol.
just getting myself ready.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like
Adjusting my headset. All right, are we ready?
For the storm to come.
Do it.
Get your dice ready. Oh wait, no, sorry, wrong show. Welcome. This is not Casual Quest.
Aloha,
Masters,
everybody.
Casual
This is
Master
Casual
Quest.
Master Quest,
My name
episode
is
78.
Nick.
My name's Tyler.
Don't fight, please.
And you're hosting.
I'm not.
Don't gaslight me, motherfucker. You said you were hosting.
I know,
No,
but
I
you
said
guys
I was
both.
hosting.
I'm about to say Nick was host. Yeah, Nick said he was hosting.
Oh!
Right? I'm not crazy, right? Because I was like, I don't know enough to be the host because I feel like it'd be a faux host and it wouldn't be fair to you guys.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Casual Master Quest. This is episode 78. I'm your host for the episode, Nick. I'm joined today by my lovely co-hosts Tyler and Glenn. How's it going, guys?
Always good.
Yeah? How you
Oh,
doing,
yeah.
Tyler?
I am upset with myself.
Why? What's going on?
Because I thought I was the best host on Casual Master Quest, and I realized I've been preceded honorably. Nick, you're doing great. I believe in you.
Well, we just got started, so let's see how that goes. How's
Right.
how's your week been, Tyler?
Great. I'm crying tears of whiskey. I'm a little emotional right now. I realize I've been stepping on too many toes, and I need to stop. And I've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping.
Stepping a lot of toes. Why are people walking so close to you?
I got big feet, man. Also,
Oh, that's
I'm
fair.
I'm like the opposite of pigeon toed. I gotta man spread my feet when I walk.
I just thought when you said I'm having tears of whiskey, I thought tears of a clown, and then you talked about having big feet, and all I thought of was clown shoes. Like all of this is making sense.
So Christmas
Uh,
shopping.
Yep, I sent them mince pies and flowers that squirt water out of them. No, I've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping. It's that time of the week. I believe it's the second week of Christmas that's supposed to be the busiest day for like UPS workers and all that. Just because of the amount of ordering and packages that get bought,
Right.
as well as the retail. But yeah, I just kind of sat there, one day just walking through Amazon saying, what am I going to make an impulse buy for myself today? And then the thought clicked, oh shit, I should buy presents for people to show them that I still appreciate them because, that's how commercialism works.
Right. Tyler,
Love it.
I know you made an impulse buy that you don't really remember.
Which one?
Your most recent one of a walking assistance paraphernalia and a
My
an
pimp
accessory
staff,
that goes along
yes.
yes, your pimp cane.
Yes. It's dipped in 18th century lead paint. It's actually completely plastic, so it only looks good, but it's fake as shit. Also, it got screwed together kind of like a connects. So if I want, like, instead of a pimp cane, I want a pimp wand instead. I can just, Avada Kedavra somebody back to their corner of the street and, be on my way. But yeah, some reason I still don't know why I bought a pimp cane. Also, why do
Alright.
I own a top hat?
Okay,
Nick.
so what happened was
Yes, Nick, please. CMQ
this was
exclusive
last-
to even me.
This was last week, and this was pre-show, and then we were all just talking shit, and it was you, me, and Amanda, and I think Nick was here, and then you had some amount of a alcoholic beverage,
But I
and
never
then you
drink.
started browsing, through Amazon, and you're like, and you shared screen with us, and you're like, should I buy this pimp cane? We're like, I don't see an issue.
Check
But to be
Did
fair,
my wife agree? Because that means a lot of things either for or against it.
well, she was laughing along, so I guess we took that as like agreement.
We laughed our
maybe
old
at the
way
time.
to the nightly corner.
But to be fair, the top hat was my idea, and you went along with it. I enabled that because you're like dead. You're kind of dead set on getting the cane, and I'm like, if you're getting the cane, you have to get a top hat, Tyler.
Yeah.
And
What's
you're
a
like,
pimp cane without
yeah,
a top
exactly,
hat?
right? right? So and then I enabled it, and then he went along with it, and I didn't realize he ordered it until maybe like 30 minutes in. He's like, "Well, my cane and top hat have been confirmed." I'm like, "What? Did
You
you
actually
actually
bought
bought it?"
those?
Look, there is one rule that I always instill. That is, don't order shit when you're drinking. But when I'm drinking, I always forget that rule. It's like, what the fuck do you do?
How convenient.
I know, right? And so yeah, my bridge baby over there now has a top hat, and I also have a plastic pimp cane to match my seasonal giving.
Right. I see your little child there has been has found himself a new accessory.
Little. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about my nephew over there playing Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever on the couch there. But yes, my boss baby, not my bridge baby, he's a boss baby. Now has a top hat proudly because I can't
Nice.
wear it while I'm wearing my headphones.
Right, that makes sense.
It's very
You
upsetting.
can always
That makes-
like
yeah.
you
Hot
could
glue.
pull it around the back
Right.
like that,
Now
and then wear the top hat on top like that.
we are live right now, so the idea that you're instilling in me means after drinking, I'm guessing like 4 or 5 shots of Jacqueline Daniels. Shout out to my D&D crew. I probably shouldn't get up and go get it. So
Probably not. So, Glenn, why don't you tell us
let's
about
do
your
it.
week?
It's been good. It's been, as some of you know, I'm in Los Angeles, so like, it's usually dry, sunny. You know that realm of things as far as weather
Right.
goes, but it's been refreshingly rainy like the last like 10 days ish, kind of off and on. So I'm really digging that. It's also been really good just for LA in general, just to have that, little bit of precipitation and
Right. Now forgive me. I know that the you had the wildfires like maybe a few weeks ago. How's the situation been on that?
Oh, up in Santa Clarita. Oh, was that in Santa Clarita? There's a new wildfire every week. That's
Right.
part of the reason why it's so, it allows for the soil to kind of all the plants don't get so dry,
Right.
you know? And so it allows for everything to kind of just be a little more fireproof than it was before, though that is still not very fireproof. Personally, I love it because I'm a big fan of rain and snow and all that stuff, which is part
Oh
of the reason
man,
why it's hard to
I
not
love
live in the
rain.
Midwest anymore. Um,
Yeah, I
but then
just
also
think.
just,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh god, no, I was gonna say, then other than that, just finally getting over not a not sickness where I'm like never really sick, but always don't feel
Like
quite
there's just a
off.
one something's tickly or something. You just feel like
Yeah,
shit
there's a
when you wake up.
cough or a sniffles or, just something weird. Part of that is getting back to the gym and stuff, which I did 2 or 3 times this week, which was good because it always forces me to get up a little earlier and be a little more
Right.
active. Um, so yeah, it's been a good week. Non
That's good.
Not super eventful. I missed being here with you guys last week. So thanks for bearing with me on that. I came in for the tail end and listened in, and it was all very interesting. So I was happy to have been able to listen in. So, but yeah, yeah. I talked about that in the game segment. This is a video game podcast.
Oh
Yeah.
man, get a teaser trailer for Glenn's gaming for the week. Oh man, I'm excited. What about
Right.
you,
And then
Nick?
yeah, for me,
For you.
it's fucking nothing, dude. Like I finished school, so I'm just kind of like, all right, what now? It's one of those things where throughout the semester, I'm like, God, I can't wait for this fucking semester to be over, week in, week out, and then the moment it's over, it's like, well, what do I do now? I have nowhere to be. I'm, you I have no responsibilities.
No
I'm,
homework.
so no home. Like that's why I can't wait to finish next semester and like you look for a job and just get on some sort of routine because I am happier and when I'm busier, when there's things
Oh,
keeping
okay.
me like going from, day to day, like, I'm pretty full up day to day as much as I like my alone time and game time and doing nothing. I like having things to do.
Yeah.
That being said, I have started watching a show called The Blacklist.
Oh, my buddy is one of my D&D players is the post production coordinator for that show.
And it's starring, I can't remember the actor, like the names of all the other actors except for James Spader.
James
who
Spader, yeah,
is
he's a really nice
one
guy.
heavy
Yeah, he is.
shit. I love James Spader.
But you know what that
Um,
means, right?
what?
My friend knows all those people and works with them on a daily basis, and is the one that decides how the episodes get cut for the final episodes before the
That's really cool.
producers see them. So yeah, if you ever come to LA and you want to go on set, there's a decent chance I could get you at least on the lot.
Oh
Well, see,
man,
that's
Glenn's
interesting
got
because
strings.
yeah, because I'm gonna start looking for jobs in the film industry. Actually,
Los
that's
Angeles is calling your name, baby.
no, I
Hello,
disagree.
LA.
As fun as LA
Don't you
is,
dare say
Vancouver's got
Georgia.
a Vancouver.
Okay, good.
Vancouver, yeah, yeah. I live in Vancouver. We have one of the biggest film industry, like developing film industries in the
As
in the
soon
Pacific Northwest.
And the most popular
I
kill rate for stunt doubles.
Yes.
I will
Yeah.
say though, as soon as the union figures out a way to get their heads into Vancouver, you're not going to be able to do. It's not going to be as big anymore. That's why Atlanta and Vancouver are so big right now, because they can go there and not pay union rates, which is also super
Right.
shitty.
Right.
Because as a person who worked as an extra, even union rates as an extra are not that good. So you work up 16-hour days, and I make $200 on a
Right.
16-hour
Yeah.
day.
I was looking at all the job listings. Based on what I like to do, I really want to go into like either the production or the direction side, because I like organizing. I like working with people.
Man, part of the thing is, if you
and
came here, my roommate is that is what he is. I know
Right.
producers, I know production coordinators, I know everyone. I could get you into the industry in LA. Sorry, I just got really excited and I wanted to.
No, that's fine. Yeah, and like as much as I'd jump at any opportunity, I really want to stay in Canada so I can get my citizenship.
Yeah.
that's going to take a few years at least, so I can't really leave. But no, we'll make something happen, Glenn. Glenn,
Even
we'll
if it's
make
one of
something
those
happen.
things where you just come down here and do some jobs, because that's the big thing, especially for the most part, and starting out, you're not going to be able to like just get a full-time job.
Oh,
with benefits. You're
yeah,
gonna have
no,
As
like I
nice
know
as
I'm
that would
craft.
be, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know I'm gonna be somebody's bitch for a while, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
You know,
gotta earn it.
you gotta start somewhere.
Mhm.
But yeah, we are a video game podcast.
Are we?
We are a video
Holy
game podcast.
holy shit.
What
Looks
is
like it's been a
video
little bit
game?
slow for everybody this week, so we'll just move right on into the video games, which is nice. Which means hopefully we had some time to play video games. Glenn, we'll start with you
Yes.
this time. What have you been playing? I know you're very excited about something.
I am very, very excited. First, well, I mean, honestly, bigger than the thing that I put in super caps in the notes is getting back to Stardew Valley.
Nice.
First off, because Stardew Valley is perfect for a smaller streamer like myself. So when I play it, I actually see growth because people come in and I get followers and new people come to the channel. A lot of you, Tyler specifically, are people I literally met because I played Stardew, and then we started hanging out together online. And there's
Yeah,
a
you
new
bring me
big
back every
update.
time you play Stardew Valley. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, I love Stardew. And so like now I'm playing with Tyler's wife, Amanda, as well as one of my oldest followers. He's on and off Cool Male, who is a lovely pain in the butt sometimes. And then what else do we have in there? Apple Hoof.
Amanda?
Yeah. So
Oh.
we're in the four corners thing where now instead of just like sharing one farm in Stardew, you have four different farms that each serve a different purpose. One has more mining, one has more wood, one's better for farming and is better for fishing. And so you can have different money, separate bank accounts, a large map. They added a bunch of new features. You can craft your own clothes. They have new end game content, new buildings you can make. I am breeding fish in that game currently. So I'm super, yeah.
All right,
Excuse
you
me?
need to-
What?
There's a pond.
No, Glenn, you need to stop because if you tell Tyler that apart from his favorite activity in Stardew Valley, you can fish, but you can also breed things.
Yeah.
That's it. Tyler's gonna lose himself.
Yeah, all you do is you build a pond. It's 5,000 gold, 5 seaweed, and 5 green algae, which gives you a reason to care about algae and seaweed. When
Yeah.
before it was just like I hate getting these whenever I'm fishing, and then I think what is it? 300 stone. And yeah, and then you put 2 of the same species into a doohickey, they will populate it up to 3, so they'll breed and make another one. And you can get a type of what is it called? Roll, I think, ROLE. It's basically just like fish egg.
Oh, roe.
And you can roe. That's it.
Yeah.
You can harvest roe
Like a boat?
from ROE though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
so
don't
you
know that
harvest a
row.
roe. So I've got two. I've got one with carp and one with tuna. That are both iridium level. So then they produce, and so I can keep two of them in there, pop one out, sell it, and then take the roe and make recipes out of it or sell it. But yeah, so there's a lot of new stuff, and so I'm really excited to be playing that again with my friends, and it's just a great game. I have to literally go. I'm only playing this 2 days a week because otherwise it'll just be last like last time, and I'll burn through all the content in less than a month of real time.
Glenn, you have opened Pandora's box. You have unleashed
He's
something.
I can make
Pandora's
a hut
box.
for you on my farm, man.
Thankfully, Pandora's box has like 3 or 4 locks here, Nick. So he's popped open one by mentioning it. So let's see how many locks I can pop open.
Yep.
Can I get like, is this roe thing an exclusive fish? Is that a verb here? Or what am I missing?
No, roe are fish eggs.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Like
caviar.
caviar.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're made from roe. Yeah, fish
Yeah.
roe.
Okay. Can I breed exclusive fish from this?
We were talking about that actually. I was like really frustrated. I was like, oh man, you can get like the crimson fish, but you can only get one. And then I was like, wait, there are multiples of us. So each one of us can get one. And then you can breed crimson fish and sell them and their roe. So
There goes lock 2.
So as long as you're playing with friends, as far as I know, you can do that. But I don't know. That may be something that I don't know if Concerned Ape has decided to put a limit on that. But I have a crimson fish now. I've already got a crimson fish, so I'm hoping somebody else will get one soon, and then we can try it out.
How much time would you spend in a day handling this this activity at the pond?
At the pond? No, you don't have to do anything. You build the pond, put them in it, and then they do their thing. And then whenever the roe's ready,
Do you
to
run
harvest,
around in
it goes up.
circles until somebody crosses their arms or something? Like, what do you do to pass the time?
When I'm playing, I thought you were talking about like if there was anything you have to do with the pawns themselves. Personally, I'm just working on getting all my skills up to a certain amount. I got my large bag. I got what is it? My fishing's up to 8, I think. My mining's up to 8 or 9, something like that. So I mean, I just try to make money. So right now I've got a giant bunch because we just hit fall, a bunch of grapes and yams, and they're all like watered. So I put a bunch of sprinklers out there, so I don't have to water them myself.
Yeah, that lock was a little rusty, but I think I can shake it awake. So we got 3 of the 4 locks. The last one is can I breed fish to get perfect stats?
I don't know if they actually have statistics. So I as far as I'm aware, it doesn't seem that the rarity of the fish matters because I did have 2 iridium level carps together, and I
Yeah.
pulled one of the bred carp out, and it was just a regular carp, which did make me a little sad. But I don't know if that might change over time because, like I said, we've only had the ponds for about 3 or 4 days of in-game time, so
Nick
that
Hill,
could change.
rest assured, Pandora's box remains closed.
Until you can assure Tyler that there is a way to breed iridium quality fish, which would ensure that he would be maximizing his money,
Profits, yeah.
time efficiency profits. There's no way that
Mhm.
box is getting open fully. So,
Ooh, they did double
Good
the
day,
size
sir.
of sheds, though. The
sorry.
sheds, the internal
For
size
wine?
of the shed, as far as the sheds
Oh
are
fuck!
now twice as big. on
So
the
it turns
inside.
out this chest can be opened from the back. There's only 1 lock in this one. Double the size
I
of
can make so much wine.
Lordy, well, I always used barns after a certain point to put what is sheds more efficient now? Like talk to me here. Tell me dirty
think
things.
So, yeah, I think it's because of the space
Ooh.
that's taken up by the aesthetic things, or like feeding troughs in the barns.
Yeah,
think
I
the
need
shed
those.
is
Keep
actually the
going.
most efficient way to make gold if your goal is to just make a bunch of wine.
You're the host,
So
Nick. Get me
Glenn,
off this.
what are the games that you've been playing?
I'm super excited about the fact that I've been playing WoW. And as I've said in the past, I'm pissed about my ratios, Horde to Alliance in my server. Also, Alliance apparently just doesn't like PvP. But I did PvP because I knew nothing, and my friends were like, "We're doing PvP." So I just followed because I never played WoW. And eventually it got to a point where now I think the Horde have picked on us enough that we are better fighters than they are because they always go in groups and troves. So they don't actually have to have skill to win. So if it's an even fight, we just kick their asses, even though they're more
Nice.
geared than we are. On top of the fact that people are getting pissed enough that they're actually going out and just murdering the Horde in response to them murdering us. Like they
Right.
tried to infiltrate Ironforge last night, and
So
we
it's
just
so it's a
fucked them up.
true PvP. Like
Oh,
now,
it's coming
finally,
back.
like people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
nah,
can
fuck
like,
you.
well, as
The
a result,
bully
I've been
becomes
stuck
bullied.
farming in low level areas because I'm just trying to make money or like get some sort of progression. And now I can actually go to places like Silithus and Winter Spring. The other
Right.
day in Winter Spring, they were just camping the Horde flight point. I had never seen a Horde flight point be camped in my server. It was always the reverse. And so
Okay.
they were just fucking them up, and I was like, yeah, let's
Okay, so now tell
go!
me, I'm not too familiar with WoW, and I don't think that this is a thing. But
Mhm.
like, let's say you're just out there adventuring, and I'm assuming this
Oops.
isn't a thing, but I just wanted to check anyways.
Mhm.
If you're getting camped by Horde, or if you're in trouble, or you get attacked, there's no way for you to send like a server-wide ping to like other alliance members.
There's a
Is there?
defense channel,
Okay.
and there's a general channel for each zone that you're in. So at very
Okay.
least, you can even throw it into looking for group
Okay.
if you really want to mess. Because looking for group is not based on the zone
Okay.
you're in. So you can throw it in general chat, you can throw it in trade chat, you can throw it in looking for group, you can throw it in the defense channel to be like, hey, guess what? There's this thing happening. That's how I found it in Ironforge. They were trying to camp the Ironforge flight path inside of the city in one of the houses right across from the flight path. So there was like 30 or 40 horde just like held up in a house. Anytime someone came through the door, it's like, bah, 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 and they murdered them. But thanks to me, because I was like, I'm a fucking warrior. What am I gonna do standing out here doing nothing? So I targeted one, charged in, and then they just like everyone followed me, and we had 70 or 80 of us. So we fucked them up, and it was great. But the big thing is, I finally got my epic mount, which
Yay! Which is like 900 gold, correct?
900, and that's only because
Add
I
off to you,
literally chose
sir.
my faction. I chose my race because I liked their mounts the most. I chose Night Elf because I like the saber cat mounts, and so I have my mount now. I bought it
Yay!
right before we started like recording
Nice.
this, so like it's a fresh thing.
I'll drink to
I'm
that.
happy.
Actually, I won't.
Here, I'll do this.
Oh,
to that.
okay, fine. Oh,
I mean, my vaping will hit a lot harder than your vaping, I think. So
joke's on you,
yeah.
loser. Oh,
So it's really good. I'm having a lot
Good.
of fun. More so than in the past, which is it's good because the game, you invest a lot of time. I think I'm at 20 days and 18 hours of gameplay since it
That's
came
a
out
lot of.
in September.
Yeah.
that's a
That's
lot of.
still minuscule compared to a lot of players. So, yeah, but it's good. It's a great time. And Stardew's, like I said, way more exciting. I think that's part of the reason why I'm able to be positive about WoW is because I'm enjoying a game that really goes back to the root of why I like video games.
Right.
So yeah,
What suffering? What like? Please do tell. What?
Stardew.
Oh, I thought you said World of Warcraft. I'm like, I'm
No,
trying to
no, no,
figure out-
no. I think I'm enjoying Stardew or World of Warcraft because Stardew makes me happy as a gamer. It's like
Right,
it's
because
like
you weren't
Animal
just solely grinding.
Crossing,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like a fun game that you can just play for
You grind
basically no
plants.
reason and enjoy however you want, you know. And
Right. Right.
then when I want to really, destroy myself, I'll go and play WoW. But I'm also winning. I think I won a role in an Onyxia raid the other day for the first time, which was cool. Still haven't done.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Congrats, dude. That's
I
awesome.
got it's my first purple that is actually like above level 50. So I even found another purple BOE just running around. So like I've got some stuff to sell. That's how I got my money from my Epic Mount. I was so close. I was like, fuck it. I've got 5 righteous swords. I'm gonna sell a couple. And Tyler knows
Nice.
the significance of that, but uh Tyler, you'll love this. My RNG's been getting better. I was running Strathhome Live, which is where you get the Righteous Orbs, which are an important a piece for enchantments in the game.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they can go up for up to 50 gold each, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of times they'll have round robin rolls on them whenever you run it. So each person gets one, and then you start back at the beginning, so nobody gets too many. The group I was running with once did not do that. And they were like, no, whoever gets it gets it. And I won 4 in one run.
I bet you changed their minds real fucking quick then.
They're like, we're not doing this anymore. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I was cool doing round robin, but
You know what?
guys said
Socialism
no.
sounds great suddenly. It's like,
all right, Elon.
Right.
Yeah, steer me out.
Wink!
Tyler,
No, I'm kidding. Elon Musk is great. He's cool.
Yeah, he's
Tyler, what games have you
fantastic.
been playing this week?
So everybody and their mother has heard about this, and I think this is going to be the final bit that you have to hear about it. If you're getting sick of it, otherwise maybe you're eating it up because you're tipping your toe into it. Pokemon. Some reason I put Pokemon Shield, even though I own Pokemon Sword. Devil in the details. So since we last talked, I was about 20 Pokemon away from completing the Pokédex, and then something magical happened. I woed, almost ironically, at the fact that I could not get any Shield exclusive Pokemon of sorts that my wife couldn't get at the time for various reasons. Either they were too rare, or maybe she had to get further in the game or whatnot. And I howled at the moon, saying, "Oh, woe is me. Where is thy GTS? I wish you were here." And then I discovered fucking Reddit. And holy shit, is Reddit the best. So there is in fact, a Reddit thread called the Pokemon Trades where, me and other, hundreds of lonely noobs out there are like, please trade me exclusive. I'll give you mine. And in my head, it's like, everybody has, Sword, and hardly anyone has Shield. It's probably, no, a lot of Shield people out there that happen to need Sword exclusives. And I'm like,
huh.
And so, hand over my heart, finger up in the air, and like, don't worry, I shall help you. And, in return, got my fucking Pokemon that I needed, and it was great. I used the power of Reddit to complete my Pokédex. The last 12, I think, after I really started, hitting a sore spot. And so, yeah, I got all 400 Pokemon in the Galarian Pokédex, for clarity. Cool, everybody's excited, thank you. And
oh no, that's really awesome. I was thinking that's really freaking cool. Like,
we clapped for the tiger.
What about you did say Amanda is having a hard time finding ones. Which ones are the ones she's having a hard time finding in Shield?
It's a good question. I would have to look up the ones I was looking for.
Okay, copy.
I think
I don't know if you knew off the top of your head.
Gumi, I think, was one probably. Gumi was a little bit.
I've never heard of that, and I've got 60 hours into the game, so it means something.
Have you heard of Sliggoo or Goodra?
No.
Like a goopy pink dragon.
They were really cute. They were probably one of my favorite Pokemons from Gen 5
designs.
Yeah, today, nonetheless, Amanda saw it for the first time. She's like, "Oh, it's so cute! I love it, but I don't like the way it drips." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, take it for its imperfections." Yeah, I'm gonna say.
No, I was just thinking, between Pokemon Sword and Shield, who might have which copy might have been bought more would be hard to say, because Pokemon Sword you have Sword Doggo, but then Pokemon Shield you have Unicorn, and I was dead set on getting the Unicorn Pokemon game.
Unicorn.
But then, yes, Ponyta. Galarian Ponyta.
Oh, cotton candy brony thing.
You hesitated there, Nick. Have you been drinking?
Yes, water. I've been staying hydrated.
Okay, not the doubt your Pokemon.
Oh yeah, no, my memory is failing. There's a blank spot in maybe between generation 5 to now on Pokemon names. I know all of them. I just can't remember the names. But
what's the name of the anchor?
Fuck, I can't remember.
Anchor?
This hat is actually enchanted with the element of high horseness, and I feel like I should give it to you, good sir. Dhelmise.
Dhelmise, that's what it was.
Also, It was supposed to be a hard Pokemon for me to get because it appears right outside of Spikemuth. But thankfully, it has a 1% chance appearing in the grass versus in the wild. So it worked out in my favor. I just had to run around for a
Wait.
while.
1%?
Delmise is in the game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. I had no
Wait.
idea.
The Anchor one?
You never
Not
heard
seen it anyways. Yeah.
Huh.
Fuck, where was I going with this? Yeah, the only reason I got Pokemon Sword was because I saw Surfetch'd, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Wait, I can't get Surfetched, I thought.
You can through the power of trading, my good sir. But it is
Oh.
exclusive to Sword. He wanted Shield, but he saw Surfetch, so he wanted to go Sword instead.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
yeah, that's what
It's
I'm saying. Yeah,
okay.
I was originally,
Have
I
you
was
been
originally gonna
drinking?
get the unicorn because it's a unicorn, but then I saw Surfetch'd. I'm like, this is a fucking bird that's a knight that's turned an onion, a giant leek into a sword and shield. I want it.
The bird that will fight to the death with a vegetable and will force himself or herself to retire when that leek eventually gets rotten. That is like a cruel short life of a night bird.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, yeah. It's
8 generations to evolve, man.
I think it was. No, I'm not gonna get into it. Tyler, what else have you been playing?
so. Just to finish up what I did on Pokemon, since
Sure.
I promise this is the last time I'll talk about it. I got the Oval Charm, which I believe hatches more eggs by beating a certain trainer. I got the Shiny Charm for completing the Pokédex, which means I get more shiny Pokemon at a higher rate. Glenn's freaking out because I'm overloading him with information that he probably did. He's probably still stuck on Delmise, the anchor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah. With all that in mind, I have been trying to breed my competitive team in my head to, in case somebody that I know wants to step up their game and duke it out. Unfortunately, everyone I know personally hasn't really felt the call. Last time it was Brandon for Sun and Moon, but he's just kind of said, eh. And so I've been building the 6-man team, and I could maybe tell you what it is if I could remember it, but I don't. And the problem is, since I'm not
Remember any of them?
I mean, I could tell you a couple, sure. So I got Charizard, which I'm going with special attack as a sweeper, and discovered recently that since Generation 3, there was a popularity among a belly drum Charizard that's making a comeback in this one. Which sounds like weird, but yeah, like Charizard in this game was more notably a special attacker type, but if people want to break the meta and say screw it, they can be both again, let them. Yeah, screw it. I also have Ferrothorn, which is a Steel Grass type, supposed to be my super tanky, beat up set status
God,
effect.
he's so strong.
Yeah, slow as hell, but I mean that's the point. Dragapult, as a because of course I had to get Dragapult, the pseudo dragon legendary of the game. And
Is that a sword exclusive as well?
no, both.
No, it's not.
Like this is the Dragonite of this game, essentially.
Oh, I love Dragonite.
Well, then you might like Dragapult. He's meant, or she, I actually don't remember which one mine is, but again, doesn't matter. Is a great sweeper, and like they nuke like super hard. Like they almost one shot with its signature move, which I don't remember what it's called, like Dragon Launcher or something like that. Basically, this Dragapult shoots the basic form of his own Pokemon, Dreepy, at his enemies, and he'll do 250 damage hits, and it just nukes. The problem is though he also gets one-shotted, so it's either you win or you lose kind of thing. So kind of like Nox, either you're great or you're dead. Alongside that, I got Corviknight. Corviknight's like the main boy in my team, and I absolutely love Corviknight. Like I honestly thought I was gonna give it up when I went to competitive, but for some reason it just stuck around. It's a better version of Skarmory to me, and I like Skarmory even, and especially now that I got a version of Corviknight that has the hidden ability, which I don't remember what it's called specifically. It's like Magic Shield or something like that. reflects status conditions that lower stats. So if they try to
Oh,
lower my
that's
defense or
interesting.
whatnot, it shoots it right back at the attacker instead, which okay with
Isn't there
me.
another Pokemon that does that where it's like a I don't know, where like if you did put something on
Synchronize.
them, it synchronized. There it is. Okay, yeah, cool. I was like, that felt like something else I had heard of
Right.
because I think
It's-
my Eevee has that. Whatever it is, I don't remember. It's the Fairy Eevee.
that's 4. I'm trying to remember which the other ones are. Okay, I could go check real quick, but honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I was just interested.
Right. And I'll tell you them later happily because I worked so hard, breeding them. I'm currently like 85 hours in. And I think I'm finally able to start slowing down because not only have I been breeding Pokemon, I've come to the realization that most like online competitive that isn't like a super tournament or anything like that, which there is one happening right now, just so you guys are curious. Or Battle Tower, it's only 3v3. You only ever need 3 Pokemon. And so it's like, theoretically, if you're facing against people online, you'll have a 6-man team. You'll look at their team, you'll decide what's the best 3. But Battle Tower, you never know. So it's like, why the fuck would you ever have more than 3 Pokemon to, max out? And
Right.
it's been leading to a tough question. I've been asking myself if it's worth having a 6-man team if you're only ever going to use 3. The answer is technically you should, so you're prepared for a situation. But at the same time, it's like, I
It's a
don't
lot
know,
of effort.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort
Because
for a
almost
Pokemon that you
like a
might never
three-man
use.
team might
Yeah.
be like a 3-man team might be different too because of the what you're going to need more out of a 3-man team if there's not 6 to fill the necessary roles in the team,
Right. And
So it
on
might be different too.
the plus side, breeding is a lot easier for me this time around compared to the Sun and Moon because not only did I get mystery traded a 4IV foreign Ditto, which is amazing.
What's foreign? What?
A Pokemon from a different country. Like say Spain or Japan or China or something
How
like
would
that.
you know that it's foreign?
It will say next to the name when you look at it in the summary. Or it'll have a really weird name. Like,
It'll have a
moon
country
runes.
code, or the nickname would be in a different language.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
know that was the thing. That's cool.
Yeah, and I believe that having foreign when you're breeding with foreign, it helps for shinies as well. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm sure you guys heard me, hoot about it before, the Masuda effect.
Right,
The
that's what it was. Yeah.
Masuda effect is if you put 2 Pokemon and one of them is a different country Pokemon, it increases the chance of it being shiny by a shit ton. And so having
Wow.
a Ditto version from a different country is apparently worth
Oh.
its weight in gold at that point.
God, yeah, because you can breed it with anything. And
Yeah,
anything would have a better chance at shiny. That's so cool.
And so at this point, people don't even care if this Ditto is good or not. If it's from a different country, they want it. And so it's like they don't care if they're not going to send into the battle. They just want a cute looking Growlithe. And well, Growlithe is cute normally. Shout out to the normal
Amazing.
Growlithe. But yeah, I have a foreign Ditto with 4 IVs, but more importantly, I have a second Ditto that has 5 IVs that are perfect, that cover the first Ditto. So it's kind of like double filtering a breeding process between 2 Pokemon where, with enough time, I'm guaranteed to get the Pokemon I need with perfect stats.
Can you breed Ditto together?
I don't think so. Last time I remembered like someone doing that, the effect was you would get a random Pokemon, but that was like, I don't even think that's a thing anymore. I don't think that works out.
Exist?
Well, Glenn.
Oh no, did I just open up a bag?
Nick inhaled. My Pokemon professor Nikhil, go right ahead. In the days of old.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Give me the cliff notes.
I don't know. I don't
What?
know how Ditto exist.
I think you're lying.
So, Glenn, let me ask you a Pokemon question. This Pokemon is the first Pokemon to ever exist. Which one is the following? Bulbasaur, Rhydon, Mew, Arceus.
So the question is, which one is tell you which is the first Pokemon?
Yes.
Mew.
Rhydon? Mew? Okay.
Yeah.
Then how do you explain Arceus, the god of all Pokemon? That they create everything.
Oh, I had no idea who that is. So.
Ah. What about Rhydon?
He's the god of all Pokemon, but he's also kind of a Pokemon himself. So
Well, what
Mew
about-
was the first Pokemon, and Arceus just existed.
But what about
Actually, that's
Rhydon?
technically incorrect because when
Yes.
Arceus came to creation, he gave birth to Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie, who are legendary Pokemon that you can catch in Generation 4. So they were technically the first Pokemon to exist.
Then why did they
Um,
say Mew was?
Maybe in the
because
Kanto
when-
region?
Because when Mew was a thing and known to be like the origin of all Pokemon, the other 800 whatever or 700 Pokemon didn't exist yet, and they hadn't come up with the story.
Oh, so it's not really that the canon makes sense then. It's
Oh no,
just
it's continuity
happened.
bullshit.
So
Yeah, it's just-
being
yeah.
a Gen 1 boy, that makes sense. That I
Yeah,
would
to you
believe
that makes
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other
But
two
the
answers,
the canon has changed.
Yes.
technically, yes.
Okay, cool.
There
I
is
like that.
actually some weight to the other ones. Rhydon is the first Pokemon that Game Freak ever created. So you could call
Oh.
that, in reality, the first Pokemon. And then, of course, Bulbasaur is the first Pokemon you see in the Pokédex. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I did I was like, wait, isn't he just number 1 in the Pokedex? Bulbasaur wouldn't even be a decent.
Semantically,
Yes.
that's
All of them
that's
are
an
corrected
option.
one way or another
Yes.
then, huh?
My hat
so
waggles
it was a
semantically.
trick question.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bullshit question, doomed to fail, but it's okay.
I love it. I learned a lot.
So, what were we talking about? Breeding? Okay.
Pokemon. Yeah.
So,
Trying to
the-
get a shiny, you were talking about your shiny Ditto.
to top hat it all off, I am getting sick of Pokemon, I realized, because I know it's a tough thing because I've been having a lot of days where I'm in the truck, I've been playing passenger, and I realized that breeding isn't as fun as I thought it would be. Maybe I just forgot that breeding was actually god awful and tedious, but whatever. And doing the battle tower over and over, there's like a pool of like 20 different trainers that you fight, and so you start to see the same people that say the same things. It's like suddenly it loses the magic behind the curtain of these high smart professional AI trainers, because they are smart as shit, Glenn.
I
Like-
can't even beat the champion again. I'm on battle 6 and I can't beat him.
Battle 6.
Well,
of-
you have to do it 6 times before you can use the IV thing and get to the next
Oh,
levels
you
of
are in
trainers.
battle tower then.
I can't even beat him. I've tried like 8 different combinations. All of my victories before, it seems, were based on the fact that I had higher level Pokemon, but now they level everything down to 50, so I can't fucking touch him because he's got all of the
I
cheesiest
know,
Pokemon.
right?
I
So
can't
fun
do
fact.
anything.
I talked about this with Amanda, and it was cruel revenge. As I reset my camera here real quick. Anyways, when I beat the game, when I faced Leon for the first time, I mean, I told you guys before, I was like 20, 25 levels above, his Pokemon. I curb stomped him by pure brute force. And much like you, Glenn, when I go into Battle Tower, and Leon's like, hey, all our Pokemon are on equal grounds now. Good luck. And he fucking threw me into a pillow and then just ass up. And it's like, it was brutal. I won Glenn out of desperation by beating his Charizard with my Dreadnaught's Head Smash, which does damage to my own Pokemon. My last Pokemon fainted the same time his Charizard fainted, and it still gave me the win.
Because technically you did win first, order of operations.
Yeah, I guess it should have been a tie, but I guess tied to the attacker.
Man.
A win's a win.
I scraped a
Oh,
win,
yeah.
so skin of my teeth. The second time, when I had bred Pokemon, I still almost got my ass handed to me. Like, it was still rough. It was bad. I'm like, what the fuck? I bred my Pokemon. They're EV trained. They got the right abilities, the right nature. And Leon is still like, he's tossing condoms at me. I don't know what it means. And it's like, it's bad. But I got to what is called the Ultra Ball tier, which, is kind of up there. I'm not sure how far, like, so many battles. And it's just starting to lose its charm, and I decided I wanted to play a couple other games. I know
Such
that was
as?
such as I played a little bit of Little Town Hero. Had some more fun with it. I decided, hey, I fucking hate Game Freak, so what's the best way of going, from Pokemon to another Game Freak game?
Little tiny.
You go to
So
the middle child that hasn't been given much attention.
I had some good fun with that. Story is actually starting to pick up after the halfway point, and suddenly it's like, oh, maybe I am invested, even if it feels like everything else is bullshit except for the fights. And so I had some good fun with that. I realized I hit a down point with my main game of Pokemon when I started playing League of Legends. Like I realized I'm like down on my Glenn's giving me the look like, yeah, okay, I understand. You burnt out.
I'm
but
trying
you're
to stay away from League so bad.
like once I played League, I realized I need help. And so I reached out the best way I could to find a game that could break me off. The last time I needed a game to break me off this badly was RuneScape, and I used the game Sea of Thieves to break me off. So I didn't use Sea of Thieves, but I did use a Microsoft exclusive. So, I mean, I played Halo Reach for the first time in my entire life, despite it not coming out, or it came out like in 2010. Ask me anything.
Halo Reach was Bungie's last game before Bungie's
I said,
last Halo
ask
game.
me anything, not tell me anything. No, I'm just
Halo
kidding.
Reach
Please.
was Bungie's last game before it was handed off to developers 343 Industries, which was made up of a split off from Bungie. So Bungie employees split off, made 343 Industries because I think Bungie didn't want to work with. Similar with Activision, Bungie wanted to be its own thing and not work with Microsoft anymore. And I guess some people from Bungie who still wanted to stay tied to the Halo series split off. Yeah, and now 343 is. I actually don't know where 343 is because. But no. Anyways, how was your experience with Halo Reach, Tyler?
So, you guys got to keep this in mind. I played Halo one time since Halo 3 came out, natively for the Xbox 360. And the last time I touched a Halo game was Halo ODST. Technically Halo 3, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Between 3 and 4, yeah.
So, back in the day, I got a Goodwill buy, got a 360, got a game, decided to give it a shot, see what it was like. It was atrocious going back to Halo 3 ODST. It was like, it took me 5 minutes to realize that there is no sprint button. That's how bad, I realized, what I was in for. And so I was a little bit nervous going back to a Halo game. And so Halo Reach, which, as Nick explained to me, is chronologically the first one in the game series, but it's technically
yes.
It's like the 5th or 6th game after Halo 3 ODST or something like that.
It is no, it's Halo 1, 2, 3 ODST and then Halo Reach. So the 5th. Yes, yeah, you're correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I was a little bit hesitant, but since Microsoft released the Master Chief Collection, starting with this one on the PC,
Yes.
I decided to make the jump.
Great call.
I bought the expansion pass, if you will, of the the whole collection as it comes out, and I got to put in a little bit of time into Halo Reach, and I was at first kind of mad at it. First thing I was mad at was Xbox Live assigned me a default tag, so I was called Square Satyr 7205, so I had to spend 15 minutes figuring out how to change that, and it wouldn't let me start with a letter or a number, and it wouldn't let me have more than 12 characters, so I couldn't put 2 times Tyler. So
Wait, but you couldn't connect it to your current Xbox account?
That's what it was, but apparently it was Square Satyr all this time for some reason. Yeah. It's weird because I was pretty sure I was Tycho when I played Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. Be my damned luck, I have 2 different Xbox Live accounts running right now, which is a good chance of what's happening. But I started playing, realized that the cutscenes were definitely dated for sure. I'm not sure if this is it supposed to be an HD port of this game or?
Oh no, it's just a port.
Okay,
The only games that got an HD upgrade were Halo 2 and Halo Combat Evolved, the first one.
Okay, so I shouldn't feel like this game should be like up to specs 2019 standards.
No,
Definitely
definitely not.
remaster.
No.
Okay. I mean, putting that into perspective, I have, I've only put like an hour or so into it, but I've been having a good time. I was kind of frustrated because, I'm playing with the keyboard, which is bizarre to me for playing Halo with a keyboard. But,
Right.
I'm like, it's weird how they map, and I got to remap. It's like, hey, if you want to toss a grenade, press the letter G in your keyboard. And it's like, you got to really reach away from your movement just so you can toss a fucking grenade.
Yeah,
It's,
give me
it's,
F, you know?
Yeah.
it,
F in
it's,
chat.
yeah, put an F in the controls for chat. But the story has been pretty good. The voice acting has been laughable, but I'm going along with it because technically this is only a $10 game by itself. Still a better game than Metal Wolf Chaos XD. And
Right.
I think, Nick, that this is a game I would sell a lot for to play drunk with friends. This is like my next Dead Space 3 game. Like if I could have somebody that play with me in the co-op, I think it would be great.
Yeah, Halo co-op's always fun. And it's funny hearing people talk about how weird it is to play Halo on keyboard. For me, it's funny to hear that because Halo Combat Evolved, the first one, came out on the PC,
Right.
and Halo 2
Then
also came out on the
PC.
PC. And I would like I played Halo 1 and 2 on the PC, so that's what I was used to, right? We got like a free trial demo version of Halo on our school computer lab somehow. So I mean, if it helps, Tyler, like you can plug in a controller, like the native support for a controller and the key bindings and whatever button mapping would be a lot friendlier.
I feel like if I
Um,
did that though, I'd have to get an Xbox 360 controller, right? Just to get the natural feel.
The true.
no,
feel of
don't
Halo.
handicap yourself. Just get an Xbox One controller.
Oh, okay, that is also fair. And also
There's multiplayer.
random fun fact, there was one time I went to a movie with my wife and I stepped out, and some reason in the middle of this fucking parking lot there was a camouflage Xbox One controller. Just middle
Yeah,
of
I
the
was just
ground.
hoping you wouldn't see it. Somebody was like, "I can't fit this in my backpack right now. I'm gonna put it here. It's camouflage.
Come back for
Nobody's
it.
gonna see it, and I'll just come back for it."
Yeah, I tripped over it. It almost killed me. It took me like I had to Google and look, and it's like looks like an Xbox controller, but I'm looking at it like, what's this? This weird infrared port in front of it. Trying to figure out what. And it's like, oh, this is the Xbox One controller, and I kind of laughed. I'm like, well, this is never gonna get used to my house, but if it's Bluetooth, I have no idea if it's Bluetooth, but if it is, I think I finally found a use for that controller. I found.
Well, you'd have to buy a dongle. I'm pretty sure to play wirelessly on your computer.
Which
But
I
otherwise,
have.
you just plug in. Yeah, just plug in a micro USB, and then you're good to go. That's
But
how I
even
use
if you
my.
have-
That's how I use my
even if you
Elite
have
controller.
Bluetooth?
Because I'm pretty sure I don't know if it is Bluetooth. Like again, I don't have any like wireless connectivity on my motherboard. I just don't know.
That
So
is,
if it is, then
is.
sure. Then
If
okay.
you have Bluetooth, then yeah, any Windows PC has available connectivity because it's another Microsoft product. So as long as you have Bluetooth installed, you should be able to wirelessly connect. To your
Okay,
computer.
well that's good to know. I learned something new
Yeah.
today.
And
I
Nick
only
in the
know that
chat.
because I don't have one. I don't have Bluetooth. When I built my computer, I didn't build Bluetooth, and I was like, "Why isn't this working?" There's no Bluetooth.
Nick in the chat is suggesting that I try PlayStation 4 controller. And I think everybody knows, shocker, since Sony is technically the one. Wait, Sony did make Bluetooth, right? That's their technology. I am
No,
99%.
they actually they don't. I have an old PS3 Bluetooth headset, and they don't allow Bluetooth headsets anymore for PlayStation.
What?
So you can't just like
Chap?
hook an old,
Chap Hartson, who invented Bluetooth while working at Ericsson in the late 1990s.
Ericsson.
Wait, Sony Ericsson?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sony Ericsson's the phone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nick, like he was like, haha, no, it's not Sony. But then I dropped.
I never said it wasn't Sony. I just read
No,
out who invented Bluetooth.
Yeah.
It's funny because I figured Nick in the chat would like, his professor outfit would come out and he'd be like, haha, I will give you a history lesson. It looks like Nick in the chat actually might not know 100% either. Wow, what's going on here? It's
I mean,
just
Sony Ericsson used to be the name of the company for a while, so
true. Uh, so anyways, he was saying that use the PS4 controller, and the first thing I thought was the song "Deception" by Lion King 2. Just playing as you're using a PlayStation 4 controller to play
Yeah,
a Microsoft game.
game.
Oh, it'd be so nice. I mean, the only other time I can do that is Minecraft, so it's like, yes,
Yeah.
the cross button, the jump. What's that? You want me to shoot? R1. So Nick in the chat saying Ericsson is not Sony. So maybe Ericsson created a phone that had Sony software on it or something like that. I know there was a Sony Ericsson phone out there that was a thing for like 3 months before it, died in infamy because apparently no one cared for it. And Nick is confirming it was a strategic partnership. Probably one of the first Sony was able to successfully do, as we'll talk about later. But anyways, yeah, played Halo Reach, had a good time, hoping other people will buy it and play it with me. But otherwise, yeah, that was mine. What about you, Nick? Tell me about your gaming.
I'm still on the grind for a time-sensitive title. In D2, I've got till. For those listening, I've got till tomorrow to finish it up, but by now I should have it done.
Wait, why do you have to
Um,
finish it?
It's a title that's only available this season, and the season ends on Tuesday. And of course, I put it
Ooh.
off because of school.
Is this gonna be one of those
Not no
episodes
mo.
that age poorly kind of situation here?
No, I'm at the very end. I'm at the very tail end, so I should have it done by in the next 2 days. Recording on
Okay.
Saturday, so by Monday I should have it done. So yeah, no, that, and then I recently acquired Gears 5, finally.
Nice.
Gears of War is one of my favorite series, and I played through a little bit of it. Didn't get to play a lot of it. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish it off next week. Gears 5 is interesting so far. So Gears 5 is made by the Coalition. It's a Microsoft studio. The Coalition is based here in Vancouver, and fuck, I lost my train of thought.
I knew it. I'm sorry.
Gears 5.
Yeah, Gears 5 is part of the Coalition, and then last year, I can't remember when it was, I went to something called the XDS. It was a conference for game developers, not
Okay.
for like companies or publisher. Like, it was the game developers, like how the games are actually made. I volunteered there for a little bit, and I met people from 343 Industries and Gears and the Coalition, and we were talking about how important it is that they try to make sure the games are different but feel like the core feeling is still there as people are playing the
Yep.
game. Otherwise the fucking community will just jump on them.
Yep.
Right. Like because they really want to innovate and they want to do something new, but then they also have to keep it feeling like it used to, like it all like a Gears game or like a Halo
Rise
game.
of Skywalker, or not the Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi. He wanted to do something different, and the community went, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
question for you, if I could, not to derail from your topic. Gears
Yeah.
of War, very important. Why is it like that for almost every game series, but for some reason Zelda, they always do something different, and some people are divisive about it, but it's still universally loved. I never understood.
Well, I mean,
that.
it depends. Like, you have to look at the context here. Like, here, Halo and Gears specifically have built these worlds, and so
True.
they want that consistency.
Yeah,
Right? Not that
Zelda's
Zelda
is
hasn't
not-
built these worlds. I think it just started off as like, we want to
They definitely don't have consistency.
Yeah, we want to try these different things, and it just worked out now. Then, like, oh shit, and we talked about this maybe 2 episodes ago. Like, oh shit, we actually have to consider some sort of timeline or continuity or like what's going on with the fucking story. Whereas with
Right.
Halo and Gears, they were planned as like, all right, we want to do 3 games, story wise.
Meanwhile, Final Fantasy. Oh, there's chocobos in it.
Well-
It's a Final Fantasy game.
I also think that the big thing about Zelda is that it's almost more obscure in its canon, because everything is just a different version of a reality where Zelda
Exactly.
is, so they have the freedom to kind of create within the context of that. But like, if they just add shit to Halo, there's already pretty concrete boundaries on
Right.
what exists and how things are. So the only thing they can do is really like go to the past or go to the future.
Right.
Like editing
Yeah,
and stuff in
and-
between is a lot harder.
And Halo story wise is a lot like Star Wars, where there's so much
Mhm.
supporting material. There's so many like side things, and like there's novels that supplement the story in so many different ways. But
Sadly,
we're
all
here.
we have is fan fiction.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, Zelda.
Sorry.
Sometimes not a lot of
Yeah. Ugh.
safe for work fan fiction.
Hello,
Nintendo and the
baby.
imagination. Oh, jeez.
So with Gears,
Imagination.
I'm maybe about 3 or 4 hours in. Um, Story wise, I'm really excited. Like the story of Gears has, to me, like you have to imagine I picked up the first Gears, let's say when I was 12 or 13. I was 12 or 13 when this game came out on PC, Gears of War 1, where it was just this brutal over the person third person shooter where I'm shooting these monsters, ripping them apart with the chainsaw. It was just bloody gore, like just gore filled game. People, like these soldiers are swearing, and then it's just like, it was just like, it was intense and it was dark, but it was, like the bond that the characters had, the story that they were trying to build was fantastic. And then that just pulled me in so early. Then Gears of War 2, something tragic happens. Gears of War 3, some other tragic shit happens, but there's victory. And then Gears of War 4 came out. And so Gears 5, gameplay wise, have done a few things that have been interesting. They've added like an AI like robot that comes around with you that you can actually like give it things to do, like, oh, I need you to fetch that ammo and bring it here, or I need you to go and attack that
Oh.
guy, or do this thing specific. So it's a little different, but it still feels like the same game. Like the core sprint mechanics, the shift between cover mechanics, they've all stayed the same. And with the last Gears of War, with Gears 4, what they try to do is make the environment more interactable, meaning that if you blow up that explosive barrel, that whole section is going to collapse and kill a bunch of them. You can either do
Nice.
that or you can just shoot them down.
Like
Bad
that kind
Company
of
style, baby.
Yeah,
So
so
it's a little
like
more problem solving and stuff.
You see the
Yeah,
mountain
like-
all the way in the distance, you can blow it up.
yeah, there's just a lot more. They've given you a lot more avenues to approach a fight, which I think is more which is necessary when it comes to like um the harder difficulties,
Yeah.
because
You
they
just
they
go
won't
straight.
die as quick. Yeah, you can't just go straight at it. Like the difficulties I like to play, I can just go straight at it. Actually, no, even then I can't. I can't just stand out there and hope that they won't miss, because it's always been the case, even from the very beginning. If you're not in cover, even in like the easy mode, you're probably gonna suffer. You're gonna face a consequence for not being in cover and then playing a little bit, not super aggressive.
And that's good, right? Like being completely aware of your situation as, in a heavy gunfire combat like that.
Yeah.
I think it's good, yeah, because like as much as like if you wanna be super aggro and just run at them, you're still gonna have to like circumvent by going around cover and then kind of avoiding like line of fire. You can't just run at them in a straight line. So
Right.
like you have to be smart about your approach. I personally like to get like to mid range. I don't like the long range fights.
I mean, granted, the Locust is, completely sci-fi, but it's not really realistic if you're like charging forward with the knife going, haha, I zigzag all your bullets and then I'll knife you. Call of
Yeah,
Duty.
no, they're not stormtroopers, and they're not the locust actually in this game. They're an evolved form of the locust called the swarm.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Pardon me and my
Definitely was,
lack of knowledge.
I just went StarCraft.
It's I mean, it might, you could draw a parallel to StarCraft because it's a hive network this time around, and they're all connected to like one main. And we don't know what it is yet. I don't know what it is yet.
don't
I'm
know
not
what the
going to
hive
tell
mind
anybody what
is.
it is. We don't know like where it's all leading to, and I'm just excited to see
Even-
where it goes.
Oh, so you haven't finished the game though? That may be
No,
answered
even
within
in
the context
even in
of-
Gears of War 4, they haven't even announced, like there's no hint at like, there is a kind of a hint, but we don't know who like the main big bad is. Gears 5, I don't know how that ends either, because I'm kind of certain there's going to be a Gears 6.
Also, one
So-
of the big community members of the D&D community is one of the main voice actors for that one.
In a alternative reality, I wonder, Nick, how well you would have done with the Sony's call to this type of game. Have you heard of the game called Resistance: Fallen Man?
Yes, I have actually.
It's a 3-game series, and follows the same principle. But I wonder, have you ever touched it?
I mean, if it wasn't on the PS2, probably not. If it was, then I never had it, and that
No,
was
it
part
was,
of why I wanted a 360.
PS3 only.
Yeah, that's why I wanted a 360, because I went over to a buddy's house while I still had a PS2, and then we played some Gears 2 Horde mode or Gears 1 Horde mode. I can't remember. Or I don't know. No, I think Gears 2 was the first one that came out with a Horde mode. And I'm like, shit, I want this, and I want to play through the story. And then I got Gears 1 on the PC, and then I'm like, shit, I need Gears 2, so I got a 360, and yeah.
Okay, that's
Right,
fair.
it's history.
I honestly wish there was a way that I could, somehow introduce you to that series as well in conjunction to this, because it was a great game series, but unfortunately, it's locked. It's
Right.
if you
It's
if you
hard
don't
locked,
own a
yeah.
I'm gonna say if you don't have a PS3, then you're never gonna ever play it in this current condition, and that's kind
Right.
of frustrating, But
Well,
anyways,
Yeah,
in
that
the
makes
Gears of
future
War.
world,
specific.
that's maybe more possible just between the different ports. Now we're playing Halo on computers, so
True, and
maybe that'll
it-
get
But there
brought
was a
over.
need for it too, right? That's the other thing. Because when the full Master Chief Collection comes out, we're gonna have a resurgence, or at least that's the hope. There's gonna be a resurgence to Halo competitive because it's now gonna
Oh,
be on PC, right? And the Halo Master Chief Collection comes with
oh,
Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST 4, 5,
oh yeah,
and
that's right. You choose which games
Reach.
multiplayer you're in.
Yes, you can choose which games multiplayer you're in.
Huh.
So I was hoping,
Cool.
because there is a solution to this, and it's called PS Now, which is the streaming
Oh yeah,
games from
the
different
digital one.
systems. Like, well, if you're smart, then maybe if you have PS Now, you can play it on the PlayStation 4, which leads to what Nick in the chat was saying. You can play Resistance 3 on PS Now, but
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
how would it feel if I just suddenly jumped into Gears of War 3 compared to skipping
I
the first two and then not being able to
I
play
think
4 or 5?
Well, I mean, story wise, you'd be a little confused. Gameplay wise, it'd be the same core thing. If anybody's not played the Gears of War series, I would recommend starting at Gears 4 because Gears 4 is after a time skip, and so you start off with kind of like fresh characters, and you can pick up things about the story along the way.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal.
So
It's like
that's Gears
starting
of War,
episode
and
4, 5, and 6.
yeah, essentially. And then I hope to be able to finish Gears of War. And before I leave, I want to try picking up Jedi Fallen Order and see if I can
Oh yeah.
give a go at that. And definitely, I'm probably getting Reach before I leave. I have to like start shooting some people with the sniper rifle.
Please, because I spent 20 minutes very frustrated in the very beginning trying to figure out how to aim with the SMG.
Oh, so okay, so that's another thing. Not a lot of guns have ADS.
Yeah, I
ADS?
learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is ADS?
So aiming down sights. So there's
Oh.
you only
It-
have the Magnum,
spray and
the
pray.
sniper rifle, and a few other things. Otherwise,
Battle rifle.
yeah, that's and the battle rifle, the DMR.
Wow.
And
That's how it was.
it was so bizarre to me, just to touch back onto Halo Reach, that not only that, even if you had something like the BR, the Magnum, if you took damage, you got pushed out of it. So it was so bizarre that I had to spray and pray for most of these fights.
Yeah, that's I think the biggest challenge with porting over old games is the lack of consistency with modern games. Like we've come so like it, the first game to introduce clamber was, I'm pretty sure, Halo 5. So in Halo 4
Clamber?
you can sprint. Yeah, so when you jump up to a ledge and then it just automatically pulls you up onto it.
Oh yeah.
Halo 4 didn't have that, but Halo 4 had a sprint. Like I think it all like had sprint available all the time. So there's a few things that will take you a while to get used to, especially if you're not used to the Halo series. Like Halo 1, you could never sprint at all.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the one Halo game
Right.
I played the storyline
Yep.
on. So
Yeah.
Is there a Halo game where you could double jump, or is that just me? It felt
Outside
like
the
maybe
backpacks, no, you can't double jump.
okay, so maybe it was just you could moon jump essentially, like you could jump incredibly higher or further than you normally could.
I think there are some things that get you like a higher jump, and outside of the backpacks, but no, I can't remember anything. Nothing's coming to me right now
wasn't
immediately.
it in Halo 3 in the multiplayer there was like a way to have low gravity or something?
It might have been a game mode.
Maybe it was.
Yeah,
Uh,
because there's like a low grav game mode with the
Yeah.
hammers.
Yes.
I mean,
with
there's
the grab
cool
hammers?
special.
Oh my god, so much fun.
There's oh god, those fuck. What are they called? The brutes with those.
Yes.
I know a little bit about Halo. Like it wasn't. Yeah, thank you. It wasn't until Halo 3 ODST that they started introducing like class features, if I understand correctly, such as sending holograms out or making yourself invincible for a couple of seconds.
That was Halo 3, not ODST, because the other difference with like narratively, it might have been ODST, but ODST are not Spartans. You're just regular humans,
Mhm.
Right.
right? Which is why the game is so much harder. Um,
I got really frustrated in Halo Reach because God bless them. I was with the like you start off in the game with like a team of 5, and like I get tagged with a plasma grenade. I know what happens when I get tagged with a plasma grenade. And like as I get, obliterated, the guy next to me just smashes the ground and turns invincible just to save his own. It's like we both go to a
George.
checkpoint, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's George.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enough about the games we've been playing.
Yeah.
And we've got a few interesting things to talk about. Some awesome things and some whatever things. Let's start with the awesome things. So, according to an article by Polygon,
Thank you, Polygon.
thank you, Polygon. This is from an article by Patricia Hernandez. Hatterene, the Pokemon from.
Oh, are
the
we
new
jumping
games.
back to the modular segment?
We
Yes,
haven't even we
Okay.
haven't even touched on that.
they're
yet.
both Polygon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Sony for a second. Are we going back to Pokemon?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna start with the awesome thing first.
Oh, this is the awesome thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're scaring me, Nick. What's going on here?
I'm trying to be funny, but apparently that's not coming across. Anyways,
No, you're scary.
Pokemon.
You're not
There's a
funny at
Pokemon in
all.
Sword and Shield called.
I live in a
Hatterene.
country where public urination lands you on the sex offender list. What you're talking about is scary.
But Hatterene.
There's a Pokemon
Hatterene.
in Sword and Shield that's part of a 3-stage evolution family, the Psychic type, and Hatterene. I'm just gonna verbatim. This is the title of the article. Hatterene's unlikely ascent to Pokemon sex symbol.
She doesn't have hands. She's got
Yes,
a
she does.
tentacle-
Oh,
she's
yeah.
got a tentacle hand off
She's
her
got-
hat.
She's got little
No,
alien
she's got
hands. Got little
Yeah, she
Midna
got alien
hands. I mean, if you look at the picture, like the first picture they show, it shows her having like the hands of a 2-year-old, which doesn't help with the situation that's going on here. So
I- This is interesting. This is not a surprise to some people who frequent certain parts of the internet. But I don't even know where to begin with this. Hatterene has been subjected to extensive use of Rule 34. And
Nick, can you tell me, in the day and age where we used to talk about things like Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, Muhammad Ali even, and today's version
Cary
of
Grant, man. Cary Grant.
okay, yeah, I mean, like, not to, because sexualizing a person, just, granting them a status for that, nowadays is just, fucking fucked, essentially. But the idea that our, formula decides that a Pokemon is worthy of that title, or is put in that title, not even worthy at this point, it's just, what the fuck is going on?
It's just the internet doing its thing, Tyler. So I referenced Rule 34 earlier. In case there's somebody out there who doesn't know it, Rule 34 states that if it exists, there is porn of it. If there isn't, there will be. And that's exactly
Rule
what has
35.
happened.
Which is ironically always true, no matter what.
I mean,
when it was written.
So the internet has done its thing.
Yeah, it did.
The hentai lords and goddesses have found their way into turning Hatterene into something a little explicit. This is definitely not a kid-safe version of this Pokemon.
No.
And I don't know how I feel about it. I was making the joke that we're going into the good stuff, but this is honestly it's a little
the good stuff, yeah.
like I've seen my fair share of weird things that I've turned a blind eye to. Live and let live. But this is getting close to Pokemon. Really,
Pokemon.
Glenn, what are your thoughts on this? Because you're not as depraved as us.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I
depraved is such a cold term. There are many have been, like, if you search my search history back, over the years, yeah, there might have been a couple of questionable hits that come up, but calling me depraved. Nick.
That's the
What?
smut writer of the group.
Okay, I have only written smut fan fiction about My Little Pony. Shit.
What?
Whoops.
You're not. Kyle, you're digging the whole. You're digging deeper.
I'm
This is-
SWAT. I'm pencil diving. Nope.
He's like, nope. To answer your question, Nick.
Yes. Glenn.
I don't really being someone who jumped back into the game after, hiatus since 1998. Because like I said, I think I played a little bit of Emerald on an emulator, but other than that, it was just yellow. This. And so
Right.
I'm just getting and Pokemon Go kind of acquainted me with some of the new generations because they're releasing them sequentially, which was nice to be able to kind of get a slow release to get introduced to these new characters.
You're just
but-
not bombarded by 890
Yeah,
Pokemon all
here's-
at once. Yeah.
About your Pokemon, 151. What in the world happened to the world? Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I'm a little sad just because sexualizing a Pokemon feels like something that shouldn't have to happen within the human psyche. But I'm sure worse things have happened. It's
Yes, there
it's also a little
has.
sad. Sad that it's like one of my childhood things.
Right.
I grew up playing this game. I still have the cards. I have the promo Mew card from the first movie that came out in 2000, and so like seeing it turned into something where it's like legitimately like she's giving a hand job or something or whatever. I haven't looked at any of the things. I can only imagine how bad they are. But like
That's pretty tame.
see, but even to me that feels like it's a Pokemon.
No, I understand. Nobody,
like,
if you feel the same way as Glenn, avoid the Pokemon Rule 34 subreddit. Just putting that out there. That
Did you
you
link
should
that for
avoid.
science?
we will link that for science. You want to avoid that link at all costs.
I will never
It's
look at it.
it's so weird because it reminds me of the one meme picture that people will post every now and then. Have you guys seen the movie The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Where
Yes.
it shows the mother like looking at like this atrocious thing, but then you have the person that makes the costume like ha 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 in the background. Yeah, like this is it's essentially two groups of people. People who are like completely affronted by the idea of Rule 34 on anything, especially video games. And then you got the people who are like, I have no fucking morals. Let's see what's going on. And it's such a divisive thing because some people are like, it's art. Some people are like, I got, it's more than art for me. And I tried crossing the line at one point, seeing if it was, but thankfully, in my head anyways, I realized it wasn't for me. Because, like, when you think about it on the deep end of things, like, these are Pokemon that you were capturing, you're commanding and all that stuff, and it goes down a certain road that's scarier than the initial thought. And then it turns into the idea of, like, is this bestiality? Is this, zoophilia?
Oh.
Is this slavery? Is, like, it gets really dark really fucking quick.
It's yeah, no, it is kind of what it is, but it's interesting how all of this happened because it's not the only franchise this happens with, if we're being completely honest. Like, look at Bowsette.
Oh, I was gonna say Digimon, but yeah, sure.
Digimon?
Welcome to the internet, Glenn. And before we continue, I will want to say
If it
our
was
field
animated and there's people in the world that know how to draw, let it be known that there's probably something horrific about it.
Rule 34, Glenn.
Fucking
let
Dora
it be
the
known.
Explorer?
Well,
Oh.
that's a scarier territory, in fact.
That's something that even I won't even go near.
Imagine
Well,
finding
it fits the conditions. There are people that know how to draw, and it was animated.
No,
so,
no,
like,
you're correct. Technically, you're correct, but then
You're correct,
That's
yeah.
like a whole
Imagine
subsection of depravity. That's
the deep end of the pool that is Rule 34, but then you see a gutter at the bottom of the deep end, and it's fucking Penelope from the movie It, like, hey kid, I got Rule 34 for, Dora the Explorer. Why don't you come down here? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Run.
Run
Um,
away.
I did want to mention that and Nick found this out in chat. The term for the Rule 34 Pokemon thing is Porkemon.
There's so many red flags in here. It feels like I'm being stopped in a NASCAR race. So, like, what the fuck do you do at that point?
Flag him down.
No, thank
flag
you,
him
NSA
down.
agent. We're okay. We're just discussing something. We're not sharing or creating anything. We're just discussing this. Thank you very much, NSA
Oh,
agent. I
was
hope your
like,
day's going great.
Somebody named NSA
Um,
agent in the
Oh,
chat.
there goes
They're
my
like, "Hey, what are
passport
you guys
being
doing?"
revoked.
So we're just gonna leave it
Cannot
at
go
that.
within 300 yards of a school.
We're just gonna leave it at that. Hadron has been turned into the mascot for
Oh,
Rule
God.
34 for Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Anything we're talking about, all the Pokemon are over the ages of 18.
and everything appears to be consensual. All right, we're gonna move on to our topic of the show.
Thank you. Run. Also, God of War versus Hatterene. Who
God of
wins?
War.
God of War. Okay, good.
Hatterene.
Whoa, that was a scary
I'm
entry.
kidding.
Into
I just wanted to be controversial because I know
Nope.
you guys.
That's
both love
fine.
God of War.
You
that's
owned
okay.
it. You're a Hatterene
That's
kind of
fine.
guy. I'm an ass man.
Yeah,
So
Actually, not.
Okay,
I
so
really
Sony is celebrating. This is our topic of the show. Sony is celebrating
I-
25 years of the launch of the PlayStation. We are on December 3rd, 1994. The Sony PlayStation launched for the first time in Japan. But apparently things could have turned out. It like could have gone in a completely different direction.
Hmm.
Tyler, do you want to tell us a little bit about this little direction? Because I'm pretty sure like some of this was covered in that Nintendo history special that you did, or at least it was mentioned.
Unfortunately, it didn't, because when you think of the history special I did, it went all the way up right before they introduced toys. So we're talking like in the 1960s.
Right. No, yeah, no, I was just thinking, like, I remember hearing somebody say something. It might have been you or somebody else about Sony and Sega, or we might have discussed that on the show maybe like half a year ago or something.
I'm sure I mentioned it before, especially with pretty much the fall of the Dreamcast, essentially, with the Dreamcast being highly piratable versus the popularity of the PlayStation 2 at the time. But yes, I if as long as I can remember it, have some knowledge over the history of the PlayStation since the very beginning. Fun fact, it was my very first system. I'm pretty sure it was I got it within like 3 months of each other, the PlayStation 1 and the Super Nintendo.
PlayStation
okay.
1 was my first system as well.
Makes sense.
It was my first system as well, but like because we had a Super Nintendo in the house, but that was my dad's. Like I watched him play games. I didn't get to play the Super Nintendo.
Okay, but if it's in the same house as you and you're under the age of 18, can't you say that's your system still? Because
I mean,
otherwise,
I
my
never got
first
to play
system
it.
was the Xbox 360.
Well, I mean, like that was the first console that was bought and lived in my house that I was able to play. So that's why I consider it my first console, because like I wasn't able to play the Nintendo.
So just to represent or understand here, your dad would let you play the Super Nintendo?
No, he would not. He would let me watch him play it.
I'm kind of
I was
respectful
too
of your
young.
father, but also kind of concerned that he handed you the PlayStation 1, but the Super Nintendo was off hands.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo was off limits. I could play the Game Boy, but not the Super Nintendo.
Any idea why?
I think it's because either my dad thought that the themes that went into it were a little too harsh for me.
But the
I would argue the
PlayStation 1?
1 had more access to titles that are a little
It
bit
Fucking
absolutely
hardcore.
did, which is why
Duke
that's super ironic. Well, it's like
Nukem.
my parents didn't let me watch a PG-13 movie until I was like 14 years old. I also couldn't watch the Smurfs. My dad was a youth pastor for a while, so there were certain things that they were very strict on, and a lot of that was what was being brought in. And then my brother was born, and they were like, "Fuck it, it doesn't matter." And so, like,
Makes
they didn't
sense.
say that out
Checks
loud, and
out.
they wouldn't say that out loud. But it was obvious that once my brother and I both became a certain age, like the limits on what we were allowed to do definitely took a leap seemingly out of nowhere. And The PlayStation was one of them because one of the first games we got was Twisted Metal 2. So,
Wow,
um,
really took you right into the field real quick, huh?
yeah.
Like
So yeah,
skipping basic training and sending you right to another
that
continent.
game is
Jeez.
that game is fucking fire. It still holds up. I love that game. Anyway, yeah. So I do consider PlayStation to be my first console.
Man, honestly, like my first PlayStation 1 game was Rugrats and Spyro. And if yours was Twisted Metal, well, huh. I mean, it's like saying your first Nickelodeon show was Rocco's Modern World or something like that.
Rocko's
Or
Modern Life or like
yeah,
Real
yep.
Monsters. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man.
Those
Uh
gross. Or no, Ren and Stimpy. That would be the one. Ren
Ren
and
and
Stimpy was the weird ass one.
Ren and Stimpy is like the like that's when people towed the line where even Nickelodeon was like, wait a minute, do we have morals? Do the viewers have morals? Question mark. This Chihuahua's on LSD. What's going on here?
Yup.
So
That's what I
Nick,
think SpongeBob was.
the
SpongeBob was
answer,
the replacement.
I agree actually. Nick, to answer your question, could you repeat the question?
Why don't you tell us about the history of the PlayStation and how it almost never happened, or what could have been different?
Based on the
So,
article.
so are we gonna ready to ask a question to the what if machine from Futurama and start cranking it up to see what if Bender was actually human? Okay, so yes, Nick.
No, I was just gonna say I'm referring to the article by Blake Hester from Polygon. Thank you very much.
Okay, fine. So back in the day before the PlayStation 1 became a thing, and there's actually a lot of evidence to this because it turns out Sony and Nintendo were very public about this dealing that was going on. Super Nintendo was being a big hit. Nintendo was working on the Nintendo 64 at the time. PlayStation wanted to get into the mix. So they kind of started looking at each other saying, hey, we're both big companies. We're not in the big video game industry. You are. Let's shake hands and make a CD-ROM based console. And Nintendo's like, okay, yeah, let's start developing games on something that requires a little bit more horsepower than, the 64 and see what happens. And that led to eventually what is called the 64DD for the more, main day. I don't think that even reached the US, but the games that could, you needed something called the expansion pack, I believe. I could be mixing up information, but think of games like Donkey Kong 64, Majora's Mask, Star Fox 64, those kind of games required a special pack to put into the 64 that gave it a boosted memory. But back up a little bit, Sony was making a hot deal with Nintendo, and suddenly things came into question. I don't remember specifically here, but I could read the article. They wanted to make a deal, and it looked like maybe Nintendo backed out. Okay, nobody's checking, so I will. Nintendo went back on the deal, and they
I'm
terminated
reading.
the partnership with Sony and announced it was going to strike a deal with Philips instead. Now, does that sound familiar to anybody?
Like Philips 66?
Like Philips CDI.
Yeah, vaguely.
Philips CDI is a pseudo system that they tried making together that very, 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 I'm gonna add more very badly failed. It was so atrociously bad that Nintendo, like, for example, there was three Zelda games that came up on the Philips CDI that was made with Nintendo. It was so bad that Nintendo itself, despite the fact that there is such a wild web of canon with Zelda, Nintendo itself has announced that those games are not canon to the Zelda series. That's how badly this whole system debacle went.
Wow.
But nevertheless, Nintendo said peace to Sony, and Sony realizing that they still had the capabilities and the blueprints for everything that they wanted to design, say fuck it, let's make our own system. And thus the PlayStation was born.
I
Uh,
love the PlayStation.
Yeah, it went from reading through this article, Nintendo and Sony first worked together to develop the SPC 700 sound chip. And then from based on that successful partnership, they're like, all right, let's try the whole CD-ROM thing. And then Nintendo is like, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna do a deal with Philips. And then Sega tried to make a deal with Sony around the same thing. And then Sony this time was like, nah, dude, we're not gonna do that. And then Sony did their own thing and it was successful. And then they tried to do something or thought about doing something with Microsoft, but then that didn't work out. And then the PlayStation 2 came out. That's the TLDR for basically.
I'm assuming you don't want me to say anything to make that 20 minutes longer then.
I mean,
I
unless
wouldn't
there's
mind
anything
hearing
that
more
particularly
about it.
stands out, it's just interesting, especially like listening to that history of Nintendo episode, Tyler. It's just interesting how not rampant, how chaotic or how difficult it was getting startup. Because like reading through this article, Sony wasn't like initially before the PS1, Sony didn't like they saw video games as a fad, and like
Right.
their executives weren't like full on investing into the technology and production and stuff.
It's kind of like Microsoft with the Xbox 360 back in the day, where the Bill Gates did not see initially the Xbox 360 as a big thing, and it was very, very hard for Xbox 360 to try to compete when the fact of the matter is the operating system still made like 95% of the money that the Xbox 360 could make. At the same time, we have always agreed that if Microsoft really wanted to piss off Sony, which occasionally they like to do, they can dump like fuck you money into the Xbox and create all sorts of things at the
Which
risk
they
of
are
the
starting
whole,
to do.
which they're starting to do. I guess my point is Sony realized that they got snubbed by Nintendo and they were bitter. They did all sorts of things back in the day to try to pull in attention. They helped fund a bunch of other companies such as Insomniac, which helped led to Spyro and all that stuff, which led to them eventually being pulled into things like Infamous, which I'm sure you guys recognize the name of. They started to sweet talk a bunch of companies that were loyal to companies like Nintendo, and led to things like Final Fantasy suddenly becoming exclusive on the PlayStation versus the Super Nintendo. And so they started basically giving the Xbox One treatment where it's like, hey, hello, fellow people that aren't owned by us. Why don't we just pay you money or otherwise make you look good and you can have more fun on our system? And it worked. It fucking worked. And as you said, they did talk with Sony at a certain point, and it was kind of weird because I think it only lasted like 2 solid conversations, and Sony backed out of Sega almost immediately. And Sega tried doing the same thing as Sony, saying, fuck you, we have our own stuff. We have Sonic, we have Phantasy Star and all that stuff. And then they fell out immediately after like maybe like a year or two of Dreamcast.
Yeah, and then we had like Sony. It'd be safe to say Sony essentially revolutionized the exclusivity, the whole exclusivity thing. I mean, that's part of the reason why I would like to think that Xbox took so long, or Microsoft took so long. Well, it wasn't until the Xbox One they're like, I think we should probably start picking up studios. But again, as we've discussed prior, it's just Xbox or at least Microsoft not wanting to, put in as much effort because they didn't see the need to. They were happy to make a dent in the sales of Sony. And now that they're actually putting in more money because they actually see the billion-dollar industry that video games has become, and like, oh shit, we can actually profit off of this. But it's always interesting to hear the history of how some of the bigger companies today got started.
I would like to apologize. I'd like to correct myself, as Nick in the chat Nick in the chat is pointing out. That was Sucker Punch that made games like Infamous. When you think of games by Insomniac, you're thinking of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Resistance. Like these are super very
And then you also
loyal to
have Naughty
Sony.
Dog,
Mhm.
Mhm.
who did Jack and Daxter, and then I'm pretty sure what was it called? What's that guy? The male equivalent of Lara Croft? I
I
can't remember his name.
Oh, the Drake.
Like his fucking name's not coming to my. Yeah, that's
Nathan-
Uncharted.
yeah. Uncharted. That's the name of the fucking game series.
That's what I said.
Like
he did
I
say
heard
it.
Nathan Drake. Sorry.
Well, he said after,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Glenn, I'll give you credit for the kill.
Yeah.
Hey!
Aha.
Yeah. No. So there are
Aha,
plenty
thank you,
of
son.
there are plenty of things that we now recognize as Sony exclusives or first party like
God of War.
developers for Sony.
Mhm.
I mean, if we wanted to like talk about people who started the exclusivity, it would probably be Nintendo,
Mhm.
right?
I mean,
But
yeah,
then-
technically, because they're the only thing
Technically.
that was big on the in the company. But yes,
But in terms of a competitive sense on the market, like Sony like really pushed that because now you have one of the bigger developers, Activision, constantly pushing out content for them solely like exclusively, despite the game being available on all platforms, kind of thing.
But
right?
at the
Which
same
I think is a
time-
scummy thing.
Sony and PlayStation, they had a bunch of first but really second party exclusives to it, while Nintendo essentially just had a bunch of first party titles to them. Like
Right.
everything that's Nintendo that is known to Nintendo is owned by Nintendo. Whereas like a lot of things that are, that everybody knows for Sony is usually by different companies that happen to be in good relationship.
Right.
Like there's a couple exceptions, like Game Freak, for example. I don't believe Game Freak is directly owned by Nintendo. Maybe it is, but it's considered second party. So it's like
Yeah, it's the Pokemon. Pokemon is owned by Pokemon Company,
Pokemon Company.
Nintendo, and Game
Right.
Freak.
right.
So
Oh,
I think
it's owned by all three.
yes.
Okay.
I think with the Pokemon Company or Nintendo, one of them having 35%.
Okay. Somebody's got majority share.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Like when it comes to, as you mentioned up, Naughty Dog didn't actually have a game on the Nintendo system until much later, but the Crash Bandicoot property. But before that, they were working on the Sega Genesis, and then before that, they were working on PC games, and they got picked up by Sony, and suddenly they turned big. And when it turns out, when you turn big on a certain platform, you turn loyal, and it's served them pretty well, I think.
Loyal contractually, anyways. That being said, I think that's a good place to wrap up there. Happy 25 years to the PlayStation 1. Again, came out December 3rd, 1994 in Japan. Yeah, my first console. All of our first consoles.
Mhm.
And my first game on it was Crash Bandicoot 2. I was maybe 3 or 4 and my parents picked it up for me and they regret it, I'm pretty sure, because I've never stopped playing since then. But that's gonna be it for that, and we're gonna move on to game releases. Glenn, would you like to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the games coming out this week?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let me scroll down here. So it looks like we have not a large amount of releases this week.
No, we're in a little
but
bit of a slow period.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I think most of the games that are of note have already been noted, for lack of a better term, as far as the release schedule for the holidays goes. But and
Right.
I'm not super familiar with any of these games, but on December, all of them or the first two on December 10th, both on PC. Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Which
I
is,
think I recognize the series Dragon
I'm
Quest.
gonna
but I
say
don't-
Dragon Quest is a familiar thing. That's the builders have been super loyal to Nintendo, essentially, which is kind of
Okay.
ironic given the circumstances. This game has been out on a Nintendo system. I don't remember if it's the 3DS, I'm pretty sure, or the Switch. And then this
came
is
out-
the
Yeah, it came out for the Switch December 20th last year in Japan, worldwide in July this year for the Switch, PS4, and then this is the PC release.
PC release.
that
Wow.
makes sense. Yeah.
Love things moving over to PC. Just get
Thank you for
everything
beta
PC.
testing for us.
And then we have an exclusive to PC, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. And now I don't know if this is like one of my earlier games that I played. It was a mech style game, but have you guys played any of this series?
I actually have never heard about this game series before.
Yeah.
Made
Not at
by-
all. It is a single player game.
by Piranha
Oh.
Games. It is developed and published by Piranha Games, and it looks like it's shocker, a mech game.
Which is good. I think I might like it. I don't remember what the game series was. Armored Core. That was the game that I played back in the day. But also I'm a huge Gundam fan, so Gundam Wing specifically. I don't do any of the other ones. It's like my first generation Pokemon stinginess. It's the same thing. I like Gundam Wing. That's it.
Notable things about it is it's going to be one of those games where it's an Epic Store exclusive, which, trying to ride that train that,
Oh.
Epic has the best store, right? Steam's gonna be
Yeah, now we've gone from
dads.
consoles to like launcher exclusivity. Ugh.
Wow.
Apparently they're also gonna be trying to introduce the ray tracing from the NVIDIA RTX series, and
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
good.
using the Unreal Engine 4, it's gonna hopefully have something great. But beyond this, as you said, this is gonna be the first MechWarrior game that's gonna be single player since
That's
2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what's the last game? The last game is one that I've heard about. And I think I've seen some trailers for it. I think it's going to be pretty good. From everything I've seen, Detroit Become Human looks really good, coming out on December 12th. So it looks like, based on your faces there, you may have some feelings about the statement that I
So
just made.
Detroit Become Human came out last year sometime.
Oh no.
It is
Game of the
Tyler's self-
year.
Yeah, it was Tyler's proclaimed game of the year. It came out. It's a PS4 exclusive, but now it's coming out for PC on Epic. So
just never
along
played
with
it,
a lot
so
of
I
other
assumed it hadn't come
Quantico
out.
Dreams games. I'm pretty sure Heavy Rain's gonna be on Epic too soon.
Ooh. One
So-
of the first PS4 games, right?
Yes. Glenn,
Mm.
you remember the tweet that you liked, the last one I liked, where I said, opinions, some things age poorly, like my opinions.
Oh yeah.
The thing where I stated that Detroit Become Human should be game of the year of 2018 over games like God of War was the biggest example, is a
Mhm.
fine example of that my opinion has aged poorly. I personally believe that Detroit Become Human is an excellent game, but with the infamy that comes from David Cage, as well as the thought process of the story plot from him, amongst other
Mhm.
people, makes this a mixed bag, if you will. It was weird because I remember when we first reviewed it, Nick kept updated with it, but then I played it. I'm trying to remember if Cam played it.
I don't remember. I don't think he did.
Hmm.
Cam was too neck deep in his fucking JRPGs. He'd never touch a normie game.
What's a JRPG? Japanese role playing game?
Japanese RPG. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
with Final Fantasy, I guess,
Final
being a
Fantasy,
good,
yeah.
big example.
Oh, got it.
Okay,
Dynasty Warriors.
but that is a Japanese action game. But
yeah,
I'm not.
I love Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, me too. Hyrule Warriors for the Nintendo Switch, which you can play at 60 frames per second.
Ooh, sexy.
Ooh.
But that's all the game releases
Fancy.
for this upcoming week. So, all
right, and then we're gonna go into-
That's good.
Yeah, it's a slow week, and we're probably gonna pick up starting next month, I think, in the new year. And so we're gonna go into this day in gaming. The day is December 9th. Tyler, do you want
Oh.
to tell us about this first one?
Sure. So the first game that I personally listed, actually there's two of them, was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that came out this day in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and for some reason I typed the word BX. I'm not sure what the fuck that means. Xbox?
Sure.
Sure. The reason
Okay.
why we're giving a happy birthday, but also fuck you, is because Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone originally came out for the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
And that's the one I played it on, and I have no idea if this version is better or not. But I think that game was atrocious beyond the Quidditch game. So
I had a lot of fun with that game, even though it wasn't that great. I truly loved the graphics because you have to think about it as not like a true to style kind of like Harry Potter game. You have to think about it as a derpy Harry Potter game, like just like a really bad fucking
Super
game.
derpy. Isn't that where the image of Hagrid comes from most of the time?
Yes, this is the exact game. Why don't you tell us
Platformers
about
that
the
led
second
to your
one?
Sure.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm going to trash talk it. I told you. Give me exactly 4 seconds. You gave it to me. Thank you. Also, sorry. In 1995, coming out for the PC, the game Warcraft 2: Tide of Darkness came out.
Ooh.
So happy 14th birthday over to Warcraft 2.
Is that's kind of big too? Because the Warcraft, then there's a new one coming out soon, right?
Yeah, but this
Yes.
is the RTS series that preceded the MMORPG that we all know and love.
Oh
This
yeah, that's what I'm
is
saying. They're either re-releasing the RTS.
Oh
or
yeah,
they're
they're remastering Warcraft 3.
yeah, that's
It's,
it.
it's called Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Because I think it was in beta for pretty recently, so I've known some people that are playing it. So anyway, that's cool.
and those
Okay,
are
and
the
then
ones I picked. Yeah, I was going to say, Nick.
we've got two big ones here. Two OG like heavy hitters. Starting with Tekken. Came out in
Ooh.
1994, and this was the original release, meaning it was an arcade version.
Oh.
Nice.
So
Holy shit, that
Had
came out
buttons and
25
joysticks.
years ago?
that did come out 25 years ago.
Just thinking
Hey,
about
can I
that
tell you
age.
guys a fun fact?
Sure.
I still have one of the tokens from the first arcade I ever went to.
That's really cool. Like the paper tokens that you put into the like you hand in, or
Oh,
I
you mean
assumed,
the tickets? No. A
the coin.
metal token with the name Aladdin's Castle on, and it was owned by a company called Namco.
A little company called Namco, the one that owns fucking Pac-Man. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So it's got
Okay,
like the
and-
little Namco symbol, and it's old as hell. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
the last game on our list it's a little game. Not a lot of you would probably heard of it. A little game called Doom.
What's
That
that?
came out also in '94.
Is it
in
about? Is it
Japan.
scary? Is it a scary game?
I think so. I think you know what? I'm not too sure. I think it's a story about finding redemption in religion.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it takes you on a scenic journey through Mars for some reason, or sorry, specifically Phobos, one of the moons of Mars. Takes you on a scenic journey, and you play as a lone man, and you're on the soul searching journey and looking
And you
for
find
redemption.
Jesus, yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
Mars.
Like in Death Stranding, the ability to sense like those supernatural enemies is called dooms. I thought this was just the first one, so I thought this was a Kojima game, but apparently I've been educated. Also, I
yeah,
just
and I
lost my
think the
hat.
title is in reference to the sense of doom that we feel when we are
Mhm.
lost. I think that's what it means. What I
Mm.
thought was interesting about this release was that it came out on a floppy disk.
Hell
Oh
yeah!
man, floppy.
This is a
Oh
floppy
my
disk
God.
release.
Fuck you,
for
Oregon
something-
Trail.
for
Doom's
the-
on the floppy
for the-
disk.
for the PC 98. Yeah,
Windows
no, so
98, the best OS ever to come out.
no, it's not Windows 98. This is PC 98.
Oh, I
It's-
thought that was the year.
No, this is a system. This is like it's a precursor to like modern operating system. It's MS DOS based still, but
Yeah.
it's not the Windows 98 operating system.
Okay, because I love Windows 98 and still. Or no, sorry, XP was my favorite. XP.
XP was the shit. Yeah,
Anyway.
I think we can all collectively
Side
agree that
note.
XP was the shit.
XP.
Anyways, that's gonna be it for us here today. Tyler, where
Okay,
can people
Boomer.
find you?
You can find me on the internet, scouring Reddit, scouring Twitter, scouring places that don't include Rule 34. But most importantly, you can find me on Twitter at 2times Tyler. All letters, one word. What about you, Nick?
You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at LR11 and on Twitter at LR the 11th, which might change. I might be able to have that change soon because Twitter is doing like a massive deactivation of unused profiles. We don't know when those handles will come back, but there is a chance that LR11 might become available sometime in the coming few months. And the only issue with that is if you're looking for a new handle and somebody's been using yours, and if you want to start it up again, it can only be 4 letters long, 4 letters, 4 characters minimum. You can't do 3 characters anymore.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. So if anybody, just for anybody else who might be thinking of like, oh, this is my time, like it's 4 characters minimum. What about you, Glenn? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch at Razeth, Raezeth. Eventually, because of that now, I'm going to hopefully be able to change my Twitter handle away from Glenn Houston to Razeth because that's also my Instagram handle. And recently, all of the Ready to Roll content has kind of been absorbed into Razeth as well. So if you were a fan of our former sister podcast.
So, what shows could we look forward to on your channel then?
We are going to be bringing over the only thing I think that's going to continue with any new content, which is called Garuna Fight. Which is it's a reference to the world, also because I can call it Garuna FC, which makes applicable to people who enjoy football clubs. But it's
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe somebody will accidentally be like, "Oh, Garuna FC, is that like a new, championship league or
The
maybe that's
best
something else?"
SEO tactic, yes.
And then they'll just come over and be like, "Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, what nerds! This is awesome." So I think we're gonna reset that up.
The Nerdy Fighting Link,
next week.
NFL.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, Garena Fight Club is gonna continue, but hopefully, because the person that has my Twitter handle, it's like RAE_ZE. So they were just trying to write Raise, but it was like too close for me to take Razeth. So hopefully
Oof.
that'll be purged and I'll get it.
Nice. And then you can find the show, Casual Master Quest. Really anywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can email us if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to yell at us. Casualmasterquest@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, where we have links to everything at MasterQuestPod. We also have a D&D thing that we do, DM'd by Glenn right here, called Casual Quest Masters.
We
And
fight.
I think that's where we do the thing where we fight. And we had one hell of an episode this week, but that's gonna be it. Did anybody have anything else to say? Last words?
I could say, Jagex, please don't release archaeology, but beyond that, I'm good.
All right, you heard it here first. Jagex, please don't release archaeology. Thank you very much for listening, folks. We hope you have a good week. And yeah, don't forget to never stop the grind. Bye-bye. I'll miss you all.
Hi, Nier Automata is still a bad game.
Bye.
Opinions are opinions. Everybody has them. I've never touched Nier.